Live from Town Square Towers at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I am Phil Brilliant. You like that? We're Jeremy Grunin. I am Phil Brilliant, guest hosting for Jeremy this morning on Thursday, June 9th. It is 7:09 in the morning. It's a beautiful 53 degrees in downtown Toms River. And please remember to join the conversation at 732-505-1160. And I am very happy to be joined this morning with our Senator Jennifer Beck from District 11, Monmouth County, and somebody I'd like to think I can consider my friend, and let's see if she considers me her friend. Good morning, Senator Beck.
Good morning. I don't know if I consider you my friend for getting me up this early, but you're a friend.
I appreciate that. It's funny, as I was kidding with you offline, that I've been trying for months to get your office mate, Assemblyman Beck, Declan O'Scanlan, on the radio, and he refuses to wake up this early for me.
Yes, I know. But
Yeah.
I think we can change that. I'll work on him.
We got to work on him. But he did give me a little secret, though. He doesn't think you've actually gone to sleep yet.
Well, no, that's not true. I was pretty soundly asleep. But I'm happy to join you this morning. I think this is an important conversation to have with people, and for those that are driving to work, I think it'll also be very informative.
Yep. So let's talk real quick, just so I can lay out the land of District 11. You cover Monmouth County.
18 towns in Monmouth County, so as far west as Freehold Township, and then sort of work our way east, Freehold Borough, Colts Neck, Tinton Falls, and south as far as Asbury and Neptune Township and Ocean Grove.
And you got your start in local politics in Red Bank.
Yes, I was elected to town council in the borough of Red Bank in 1999 and was the first Republican elected in that town in more than 2 decades. And kind of, worked really hard and spent a couple of years on council there and then ended up running for the legislature.
You started really young.
Yeah, I look back now, it feels like it hasn't been that long, but it has been a decent amount of time that I've been in public service, yeah.
And I know I always speak that you have done great things for the people of New Jersey. I think you are a fantastic representative in Trenton because you have the rational and common sense voice of all of your constituents.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that comment. I do work hard at it, and I take everyone's opinion seriously and try to do what's in the best interest of the residents I represent. Many of these issues are complex and have lots of different impacts on people, and I try to be sure that I'm doing what's right for my people.
And that's always my favorite part, is because I love talking to you, I love listening to you, and I'll use the phrase because for me you dumb it down. I understand what you are talking about. I understand the issues because you bring it down to, I'll say our terms, so that we know, what you're talking about, what you're supporting down in Trenton, and how we can help you.
Yeah. Well, I try. It's like any job. If you spend a lot of time at it, there are all kinds of nuances to it that that maybe other people wouldn't understand or want to understand even. So, but these topics are things that people should care about because they will directly impact their lives. And I try to make sure people are aware of what's transpiring in Trenton. Much of it is significant in terms of its impact.
So with that, tell us a little bit what's happening in Trenton.
Well, probably the most pressing issue before us is funding the Transportation Trust Fund. And we have till the end of the month, to the end of June, so we have 3-4 weeks left to figure this out. And I had put forward a plan back in December as to how we could fund transportation projects for 7 years at $1.6 billion a year with no gas tax increase. And I've been talking about it. It's a comprehensive plan. It takes into consideration the growth of our fixed costs in state government, like healthcare costs growing and the pension payment we have to make every year and Medicaid costs, et cetera, while taking a look at the average revenue growth over the last 7 years and using that as a standard for projecting what we expect to happen going forward. So, I've spent a lot of time on the plan. I had OLS review my numbers and make sure that my estimates were reasonable and thoughtful. And I believe that we should move forward with refunding the Transportation Trust Fund without raising taxes.
So I guess, you come up with a plan last year, you roll it out in Trenton, and here we are, 6, 7, 8 months later, and all we're hearing is that everyone wants to raise a gas tax. How does that happen?
Yeah. Well, interestingly, nobody else has rolled out a comprehensive plan. There's been a lot of talk, but there's been no substantive plan that actually looks at all aspects of our budget and makes a comprehensive recommendation as to how to handle this issue. Some of the talk is about raising the gas tax 20 cents a gallon. I've heard 25 cents a gallon, and I even heard the Senate President suggest 40 cents a gallon. So, to me, that's a no-starter. That's not a serious plan. Raising taxes on people at 20 cents a gallon is absolutely devastating for people in Ocean County, Monmouth County, across the state of New Jersey. But that is actually what's being thrown out there now, and I'm concerned.
As a business owner, as somebody who has 15 trucks on the road every day for my business, I sit back, I listen to the fact that there are people talking about raising the minimum wage in New Jersey to $15 an hour. I don't see a lot of things that support small business, and now you're going to raise my expenses by raising gas taxes. Yeah.
Well, you're hitting it on the head. And there's a certain irony to me in the fact that you would advocate, or the majority party, Democrats that control the Senate and the Assembly, advocate for minimum wage increase to $15 an hour and then charge those same people another 20 cents a gallon to get to their job. So, it's just ludicrous. I had a man come up at a rally this past Tuesday in Kitten Falls. We had about 50 people show up on a random, morning. So I thought that was a nice show of force. And a gentleman came up to me and said, "Hey, I'm working 3 jobs. I used to work at Fort Monmouth. I lost my job there. And I'm driving around like a lunatic. This is devastating for my family. This is not an expense that we can afford." And I think that's the case for many people. That gas tax is very regressive. It's a regressive tax that affects, those that are the working poor, working class, middle class, disproportionately. And hey, Ocean County, you don't have a train. No. You don't have another option. You've got to drive to work. So I'm very concerned that they will try to jam this through in the last weeks of the legislature, and I've been talking a lot about it.
Do you think that we're going to see this just shoved down our throat, or do you think with your petition you have online, with the rallies that are occurring, and with hopefully support you can continue to gain, that we could see this get killed?
I don't know. Our residents need to stand up and fight. This is a dogfight. People are serious about trying to raise this tax quickly when they think no one's looking, and I do have an online petition for those that go online at senatenj.com/no gas tax. You should sign it. Join the conversation. I have a rally next Tuesday in Freehold Township at 5 p.m. at the Gulf Station. It's a gas station, of course, at 376 Stillwell's Corner Road. I have it up on my website, but if people are around, they should stop by and and voice their anger. I mean,
I want to come right back to that comment in a moment. I want to make sure we get that information out again. We have to go to break. We are talking to Senator. Look at that. I did it again this morning. Senator Jennifer Beck. And please remember to join the conversation, 732-505-1160. We'll be back in a moment.
Rush Limbaugh today at noon. More Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin coming up next. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Now, back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 and WOBMAM.com.
Good morning. Welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I am Phil Brilliant. And as I always say, please remember you can join the conversation at 732-505-1160. And we are having a great conversation this morning with Senator Jennifer Beck from District 11. And as we went to break, and I mixed up Senator and Jennifer all over again, as I've been doing all morning, and I apologized. We were talking about, I apologize. My tongue is totally twisted around this morning. I need more sleep at night. But, we're talking about the gas tax, and we're talking about the fact that, the Democrats in Trenton want to just push this through. And we talked a little bit offline, and you threw, what was the price you threw out there of how high of the gas tax they're talking about?
Most recently, 20 cents a gallon, which I thought they were kidding. I thought that was a joke. And then I figured out pretty quickly that they actually are serious, that they would raise the gas tax 20 cents a gallon. Hey, for Ocean County and Monmouth County, it's pretty devastating. A lot of my folks don't have access to mass transit. They can't take a train.
No.
They're driving to work, and they have no choice but to drive to work.
And I've actually had people say to me, too, well, you know what, they're going to raise the gas tax, but New Jersey's got the lowest taxes and the lowest gas costs in the country anyway. What's it matter? You're going to be getting closer to what they pay in Pennsylvania. But that's not what we want. I mean, you just said to me when we were talking, we pay enough in property taxes already. Why raise taxes? Yeah,
we've got the highest property taxes in the nation, some of the highest income taxes in the nation, and the highest sales tax in the nation. Do we have to win, in every category? And more than that, there is an alternative. If the legislature would exhibit some fiscal discipline and some fortitude, and we would, over time, budget money for transportation projects in the same way that we budget money for K through 12 education every year and environmental projects and for our state prisons and for, the myriad of things that in that $34 billion budget we appropriate every year, then we could get ourselves in a position where the majority of our transportation projects are funded from the general fund rather than borrowing. And that is my plan, that we make some important changes, some important reforms to, for example, healthcare costs in the state of New Jersey are skyrocketing, that we reform our health benefits plans for public employees, secondarily merge transportation agencies as they've done in Massachusetts, Kansas, Texas, Maryland, and find savings by merging our multiple, we have 5, 6 different transportation entities, find some cost savings there. I've suggested that we even, raise fines for bad drivers, people that are texting and driving. It's a plague how many people text and drive. It's so dangerous. Find these people, have them help pay for the roads. But we got a lot of people that are good actors that are just trying to get to work every day, and you're going to make them pay 20 cents a gallon to get to their job. It's wrong.
Oh, it's completely wrong, and I think you just hit the nail on the head. I think what we tend to get away from is we think, oh, you know what, this is an easy answer to it, as opposed to really sitting down, rolling up our sleeves, and thinking about the fact, like you just said. Raise the fines, generate money out of the people who are the bad players, not the people who are just trying to make a living in New Jersey.
Yeah, and to add to it, it's been interesting because I rolled out my plan, 7-year plan. $1.6 billion a year, no gas tax increase, and it's comprehensive. It includes us making a 1/10 increase in pension payments every year, on and on, right?
So, Senator Beck, I'm going to actually have to cut you again as we go to the news break at the bottom of the hour. You got to listen to Fox News, and when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about this gas tax, and I want to talk about the fact of how we can get people out to your rally. Remember to join the conversation, 732-505-1160. Back in a moment.
Coming up next, the latest from WOBM News, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from the Jersey Shore to the world. Get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Take the show wherever you go. Download the free Radio Pup app for your smartphone or tablet. Join the conversation, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning and welcome back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I am Phil Brilliant. It is 7:38 on June 9th, and I want to quickly get back into our conversation with Senator Jennifer Beck as we talk about what we can do to make sure that this gas tax increase does not get approved in Trenton. Welcome back, Senator Beck. I want to let's quickly get into how people can help themselves to make sure this doesn't get approved. Let's talk about your rally next week.
Absolutely. I have a rally coming up on Tuesday, June 14th, 5 p.m. in Freehold Township at the Gulf Station, the Gulf gas station. That gas station is at 376 Stillwell's Corner Road, and I'll have that on my Senate website. But, we certainly would love to have people join us. We had a nice turnout for a rally in Tinton Falls this past week. And people can also, if they can't make it to the rally, they can sign my petition. I have almost 3,000 people that have signed my petition in the last week. It's senatennj.com/no gas tax. And you should add your voice to the conversation because this is happening within the next 3 weeks. People need to weigh in. 20 cents a gallon is the minimum they're looking to raise. I've heard as high as 40 cents a gallon. And there really is, there's really no thinking about the impact this has on working people that have to go to work every day. And by the way, with the money raised, a question was asked, well, what is it going to fund? What are the funding priorities for transportation projects? And the Senate president said, the Hudson Light Rail. I mean, so Ocean County is going to foot the bill for the Hudson Light Rail. I mean,
yeah, Hudson County should foot the bill for that. Come on.
Yeah. So, look, I agree the Transportation Trust Fund has to be renewed. It must. And that is why I took the time over 7 months, researched the plan. It is comprehensive. And it funds the Transportation Trust Fund for 7 years instead of 5, so 2 extra years. And it allows us to, over time, dedicate money from our budget every year for transportation projects. And at the end of the 7th year, 80% of our projects will be funded by cash, and the remaining amount will be bonded for. But, right now we're bonding for almost everything. We've gotten in the habit of borrowing.
Right.
And we got to get away from it. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's either, there are options out there, but really the option of adding a tax onto the residents of New Jersey is an option that people should not be considering in Trenton. Again, as you said before, and I reiterate, we pay enough tax in this state. And to pay taxes so that they can support a project up in Hudson County when I'm in Ocean County, I'd hate to think what the people in Cumberland County are thinking of this, Yeah. But again, it's really about the constituents, the listeners, and everybody in New Jersey, coming up strong and making sure this does not get approved. So on the flip side, let's say it doesn't get approved. Do we get Trenton to reevaluate, your plan, or does this expire come June 30th?
There will be no choice. I mean, if a gas tax doesn't move forward, the legislature will be forced to figure out how to fund transportation projects without new tax revenues. And I believe that's possible. I think it will clearly require us to exhibit some fiscal restraint and some fortitude, but there's no question. As a matter of fact, if you look at what's just happened recently, and I think the Asbury Park Press wrote about this, we had projected revenue growth. It fell, our revenues have fallen a little short, and we were short by $1.1 billion for fiscal year 16 and fiscal year 17. Within a handful of weeks, we identified cost savings, $400 million in lapsed unused funds. We made a couple changes to charity care, made a couple tweaks to our business employment incentive program, and we found $1.1 billion. And I think that should be an indicator to people that when pressed and when we need to tighten our belts and really look hard at our budget, that we can find resources. We found $1.1 billion in a handful of weeks.
That's incredible. And again, I think it's all about, I think sometimes, and I think sometimes people in Trenton, and I'm not in Trenton, you're in Trenton, but they look for the easy way out. And I think sometimes you really got to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out how you can do things in Trenton that benefit all of the people in New Jersey, not just their neighborhood.
Yeah. And the other thing that's a little bit telling about this debate over raising the gas tax 20 cents a gallon, 25 cents a gallon, whatever crazy idea they're putting forward today, is that the advertising on TV, there have been a whole series of negative ads against me and against a number of people that have said they won't vote for a gas tax increase. And it's being funded by a construction union that has been the center of multiple federal corruption cases. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, recently they had 12 members go to jail for kickbacks and bribery in a project in Jersey City at Goldman Sachs. I mean, if those are the people that are calling for an increase in 20 cents a gallon in the gas tax, everyone hold your wallet because there's a lot more going on here than you think.
Right.
And they've spent almost $250,000 in negative ads.
Terrible. Yeah. That's a huge waste of money and a huge loss of energy that we really shouldn't be putting into a program and a thought process relative to raising taxes in New Jersey. We do have to go to one break. Senator Beck, can you stay for one more segment?
I unfortunately cannot. I have to head down to Asbury Park. We're doing a press conference down there on a new initiative they've announced for their high school. So I got to get down there by 8:30 or so. Okay,
then I will let you go. I will make sure that we get out the information on your rally next week. I do appreciate you joining me this morning. I didn't get the opportunity to ask you that big question about what you might be thinking of for 2017, but you know what? Maybe we'll have you back and we'll hold that off.
Yeah, well, thank you, but 2017, I think I'm running for re-election in the state Senate.
Okay, we'll have to talk about that then and see. Thank you very much, and thanks for everything you do for the people of New Jersey.
You got it. Thanks so much.
And we'll be back in a moment.